We love the ride-sharing business. We continue to expand into new categories. We are very much dedicated to sustainability. There's a huge challenge forward. So if some of our competitors are distracted by lovely, shiny new efforts and IPOs, that's great, because I am undistracted and completely focused on the mobility business here. And I think that there's an enormous amount of upside for us. And again, our position in India has never been better. And I think for us, one really exciting initiative is that usually around the world, and it's a factor here in India, is that many of our earners who want to earn on the platform don't have a vehicle available to them. So we want to be there to help them. So for example, some of the efforts that we are quite focused on is striking new deals with, for example, a Tata to go out and secure 25,000 new electric vehicles, or with some of our fleet operators to actually not only provide vehicles for these earners to earn on, but provide electric vehicles for them to earn on sustainably. So there's a huge amount of innovation left here. And from an earner standpoint, I think the number of earners on the platform is only going to increase. I think in terms of policy, what we're looking for is a stable policy framework. This is in order for businesses like ours to continue to invest, et cetera. We need to understand any investment requires us to have some kind of forecast of what's going to happen the next 3 to 5 years. So I think for us, the most important part is stability. I mean, one of the complications in India is that regulations often change locally from one locality to the other. That's just a part of how India operates. It's a big country. Sometimes there are different local needs. So we understand that. We are a heavily locally regulated company. So we continue to have dialogue on a local basis. I think for us now, the focus really is sustainability. And how can we work with India both on a national basis, but then city by city on a local basis to really lean into sustainability. And I think one of the areas of particular focus for us is charging infrastructure. We have, for example, a joint venture with BPGO, but the charging infrastructure requires really a public-private partnership. And at this point, for sustainable movement to really scale in India, all of the players, public and private, local and national, have to be leaning in terms of investment and working together. The adoption is happening, but frankly, it's not happening as fast as we want it to. I do think that one area that we want to make sure we communicate clearly on is that not every vehicle may be built equally, so to speak. But when you talk about sustainability, it's not important how many sustainable vehicles, green vehicles you drive. But what's important is how many miles or kilometers are driven. And the average Uber driver overall around the world is driving 6 to 7 times the number of miles or kilometers than the average driver. So we do think that when we look at the policies of many governments around the world, the policies tend to be focused on how many cars, or some kind of a bonus, on a car basis. But what's important are the miles driven. If there is a next driver that you want to switch from an internal combustion engine to a green vehicle, that's an Uber driver, because their impact on the environment is enormous.